From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, June the 27th, 2018. 13 rockets were launched at Israel overnight last night from Gaza. Red alert sirens sent Israeli residents in southern Israel running to safe rooms and bomb shelters between 1:45 a.m. and 4 a.m. local time in Israel. At least 3 of the rockets were intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense system, and a number of the rockets fell short, landing in Gazan territory. There were no reports of any rockets making actual landfall in Israel, and no damage or injury was reported. Just before the barrage of rockets at Israel, Israeli jets targeted a vehicle belonging to a Hamas operative in a cell, launching explosive and incendiary balloons. And then at the same time, as the rocket barrage started, Israeli jets also struck 2 Hamas outposts. There were no injuries reported from the Israeli airstrikes. The IDF said the Hamas terror organization will bear the consequences for facilitating terror and instability. Prince William met today with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah, where he told Abbas he was glad the UK and the PA worked so closely together. He said to Abbas, "My sentiments are the same as yours in hoping that there is a lasting peace in the region." Abbas responded that the Palestinian side is committed to the peace process with the Israelis, so both states could live peacefully together within the borders of 1967. The prince also spent time visiting a Palestinian refugee camp in the area and meeting with Palestinian students. Before heading to the West Bank today, the prince took a walk down Rothschild Boulevard in Tel Aviv with Israeli singer Netta Barzilai, who just won the Eurovision Song Contest. He also met in the city with Israeli entrepreneurs. Last night, the prince attended a special gala in his honor at the home of UK Ambassador to Israel, David Quarry, where he told the crowd, "I know I share a desire with all of you and with your neighbors for a just and lasting peace." He said the United Kingdom stands with you as we work together for a peaceful and prosperous future. Tomorrow, the prince will be back in Jerusalem touring the Old City. Well, Poland voted today to amend its controversial Holocaust responsibility law. If you recall, back in January, Poland adopted a clause which made it a crime to accuse Poland of any complicity in the atrocities of the Holocaust, punishable by up to 3 years in jail, which caused outrage across the Jewish world as well as from the international community. Yesterday, at the request of Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, Poland's lower house of parliament voted to modify the law, making it a civil offense, not a criminal offense, with no prison time for violators. Polish President Andrzej Duda signed the changes in the Holocaust law today. Just yesterday, the International Association of Jewish Lawyers and Jurists submitted an amicus brief to the Polish Constitutional Court, detailing its objection to the original controversial Holocaust law. Today, Jewish organizations welcomed Poland's change of heart. CEO of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, said as longtime friends of Poland, correcting this counterproductive measure is an important step to restore confidence and advance ties among Poland, the Jewish world, and the United States. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder welcomed the amendment as well, saying the criminalization of the original law was an egregious mistake. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today that he was pleased that Poland rescinded the clause. The Prime Minister said that while he rejects actions aimed at blaming Poland or the Polish nation as a whole for Holocaust crimes, researchers and others need to be able to exercise free speech and academic freedom on the Holocaust without any fear of legal obstacles. Netanyahu added later in Hebrew, "We stood up for defending the truth and fulfilled our chief duty to guarantee the historical truth of the Holocaust." Israel's Holocaust Museum Yad Vashem called today's decision a step in the right direction, saying, "We believe that the correct way to combat historical misrepresentations is by reinforcing open, free research and educational activities." The United States Army signed a nearly $200 million contract with Israel's Raffaele defense systems contractor this week to acquire the Trophy defense system. The system will be installed on M1 Abrams tanks in the U.S. The Trophy is the only active defense system for armored vehicles in the world, protecting them from rockets and mortars. CEO and director of Raffaele's Land and Sea Division, Moshe Elazar, said Raffaele has been providing defense solutions to the U.S. Army for more than 2 decades, with passive protection for vehicles such as the Bradley, Stryker, and AAV-7, and we are proud to continue to do so with the Trophy system. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, June the 27th at 7 o'clock, Union for Reform Judaism President Rick Jacobs reflects on Israel, world Jewry, and the role of Reform Judaism at last year's URJ Biennial in Boston. At 8, an Israeli Policy Forum discussion on the issues challenging Israel today. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Francis Bach, who was kidnapped at the age of 7 in Sudan and held as a slave for 10 years. He talks about his ordeal and his fight together with Charles Jacobs against black-on-black slavery in the Muslim world. At 10:30, it's Israeli filmmaker Danny Menken talking about his 2 films, Is That You? And On the Map with Judy Gelman-Myers on New Jewish Cinema. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, June the 27th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.